Okay, so I'm here with Steph Zamorano and Ron Placone, and you know that we've played this video on the show before. I'm going to play it really quickly. It's General Wesley Clark talking about what the hell we're doing in the Middle East, and here it is.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
Jimmy, I gotta ask. Do you think I could feature for him? Could you pull some strings and make that? He was killing.
He was killing.
Hilarious. We're gonna go to war with Iraq. What? No reason. We're just. Oh man, all the people are gonna die. Hysterical.
So we did Iraq. We did Afghanistan, Syria, Libya. We're doing Yemen, and remember I showed you this on the show a couple days ago?
Yes.
You're like, huh? What? We're in Yemen, Somalia? What the F? We ran out of bombs in Syria. He's expanding wars. Barack Obama, Nobel Peace Prize winner, expanding, big, huge expansion of wars. Not only did he continue Bush's foreign policy, he expanded wars. And I'm like, so we did the story. Go watch the video of why the Barack Obama says we're going in. We're going in there to fight terrorism. So I'm like, I know this has got to be about oil, right? What are they doing there?
Jimmy, I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be about democracy.
So we're in Syria. So what General Wesley Clark, so that's what the government really wanted to do. We did it. We went into Iraq, Libya, we're in Syria. And I already showed on this show that Syria is all about a pipeline going through Syria that Russia doesn't want to go through Syria. And that's why we're fighting in Syria over a pipeline. That's what this is about. So I'm like, why are we in Somalia? So I went, there's a website, oilprice.com. Mm-hmm. Oilprice.com. So I went to it.
What is it? Is it like to find gas prices, or is it like...
It's just all articles about oil.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tension spike as Kenya and Somalia battle for oil-rich offshore blocks. No shit! This is from September 21st. Oh my God! So there is oil stuff happening in Somalia. You're kidding? And there's a controversy. This week, the International Court of Justice will hear a border dispute case pitting the neighboring and generally neighborly states of Somalia and Kenya against each other over waters hiding massive oil and gas reserves in the Indian Ocean. Fossil fuel deposits off the shores of Kenya and Somalia have only been discovered over the past couple of years. And both countries have launched initiatives to begin reaping benefits from maritime areas, though estimates of the size of the reserves vary between speculators. The lawsuit initiated by Mogadishu makes the ICJ's ruling pertinent to 3 or 4 of Kenya's 24 lucrative offshore drilling blocks, depending on the geographic implication of the court's ruling. Kenya has a long history of exposing offshore drilling blocks to foreign companies for exploration purposes, but previous discoveries have not proven to be commercial until just recently. So the big oil companies not that interested in Kenya and Somalia because they didn't really discover the oil. They looked, they didn't think there was any oil there. Now they've just recently, Somalia has asked the Hague-based court to determine the precise geological coordinates of the maritime boundary in the Indian Ocean between the countries at odds, adding that diplomatic negotiations regarding the matter have not resolved the dispute. So they're fighting over oil that's underneath the ground, underneath an ocean. An intelligence brief released in April 2014 suggested that Somalia coastal waters in the Indian Ocean could have some of the largest oil and gas deposits in the world. I wonder why Barack Obama is expanding the war into Somalia. The largest oil and gas deposits in the world. And we're going into Somalia to fight terrorism. You motherfuckers. And by the way, they're using the authorization to go fight al-Shabaab in Somalia. And so they weren't even an organization when that authorization after 9/11 was signed. So that's what they're still doing all this bombing on. They use that authorization to go fight terrorism, which is bullshit. So now this organization wasn't even around then. Anyway, here we are.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Are you telling me that we no longer have habeas corpus? I have to take my shoes off at an airport.
Right.
We're torturing some folks.
Right. We're
and
torturing some folks.
This isn't about democracy. This is all about oil.
It's a little bit about oil. Maybe all of it. A special summit in London later that year, Somalia Oil Minister Daoud Mohamed Omar said the country would begin producing oil and gas by the year 2020. Somali oil, that's the Somali oil minister. So they're coming online. They're going to bring some fossil fuels. They're bringing some oil and gas to the world market, baby. We got it. Who cares about climate change? Who cares? So what? I can't wait for the waves to start hitting the condos in the Boston Harbor. I cannot wait for that to happen. The Somalia government, even though it wishes to move forward quickly in these areas, will also move forward cautiously, Omar said. We do not intend to have the quest for oil and gas to reignite divisions and violence. Whoopsie daisy. So I wonder what the Barack Obama's play is in Somalia. Are they trying to topple the government in Somalia and install a puppet? Or are they against Kenya and they're trying to protect Somalia because Somalia is going to let the American companies come get the oil? I mean, I don't know. All I know, it's about oil, and that's why we're there.
I'm curious what the diplomatic resolutions were like in a couple paragraphs ago. They're like, diplomatic resolutions. What was it like? Hey, there's oil under there and we want it. Oh, I don't know if we want to give it to you. Well, we tried diplomacy.
We tried.
Now we're just going to take it.
Yeah, no, it's our oil.
Glad we had this chat.
Yeah. No, it's our oil. No, it's our oil. Oh, boy. Diplomatic impasse. So there you go. It's all about oil and gas. And, you don't need to be a genius. Obviously, I'm not. I'm far from it, and you don't need to be a genius. All you have to do is have the courage to see the truth. And lots of people do not have that. In fact, I would say most. I would say half the Democratic Party still afraid to look at the truth.